Welcome back to another weekly Web3 Digest. I'm Jake and I'm the founder of Magnet, a best-in-class crypto growth consultancy company. And all we're trying to do in this video, or what I'm trying to do, is fill you in on what's going on in crypto. We are hacking growth and we're in the trenches of crypto every single day. So we're just trying to give you our perspective and also keep you up to date with what has happened most recently and what might happen next. So just as a little bit of an introduction, not a lot has really happened in the last week. There were some pivotal things such as FOMC, but the interest rates are staying in the US at around 4.25% to 4.5%, so there's not a lot of movement there. And that's not that great for crypto and wider markets as well, because risk on assets, as crypto is, aren't that attractive when interest rates are high, because people can just put their money in a bank account and receive a good interest rate. They don't need to try and compete with inflation as much as if interest rates were really low. So yeah, that's what that is. But Trump has still been very positive on crypto. We've obviously spoke about the strategic crypto reserve recently. There are stablecoin regulations. There was the summit at the White House. So there are movements that are trying to be made in crypto. We're just following the stock market a lot at the moment, and every market is pretty much in the same boat, seeing what's going to happen, what's going to play out, and we're kind of falling in there. My perspective is that we have had a bloodbath in crypto so far this year. A lot of alts have had 70-80% of their value wiped out, and I'm hoping that we're going to enter some form of consolidation stage now. So I'm not too bothered about the last week. Maybe we range for a little bit of time, 6 to 8 weeks, and then we can start building back up. Once all of the weak hands are being drawn out of the market, money will start coming back into the market, thinking that we've hit bottoms and we can go back up again. So that's what I'm hoping for. But let's dive into some more specific points of what's happened in crypto recently. The first point I want to pick up is that the Bitcoin market is changing. And I don't think this is spoken about enough. Almost 14% of Bitcoin now is ETF based. There's a lot of institutional money that is in crypto now. And this is not a position we were in this time last year. And that is probably one of the main reasons as to why we are following global markets as closely as we are right now. So I think it's just important, especially in this video, to bring that up and understand this kind of dynamic shift that's happening in crypto and has been happening slowly after the last year or so. But this could be a good thing, potentially, when conditions do change, money starts coming into risk on assets through ETFs, Bitcoin goes up, and hopefully everything else will follow. You know what it's like. You might miss the train with Bitcoin, but then you might all of a sudden think, okay, what's the next thing to go? And that's where the money starts coming down from Bitcoin into other coins. The next big bit of news is regarding XRP. So this 5-year legal battle with the SEC is over. The SEC have dropped the case against XRP. Of course, Trump had a huge part to play in this, as I think a Biden administration is still going after XRP and could be going after them for a very long time. Either way, if you have held XRP, fair play, you have massive balls. You've held for a long time, and this is such a big thing hanging over the head of any XRP holder, and it's now evaporated. I don't know, the top people at XRP, they're brushing shoulders with Trump as well. So you have to think that XRP, position in the last couple of months has magnificently improved. So that's another big bit of news that's come out recently. Another bit of news, so Solana, 5th anniversary this week, was under potential scrutiny as meme coins fizzled out and volumes and liquidity on Solana started to drop. Another 250 million in USDC was minted on Solana this week. The volumes and on-chain liquidity is still competing with the likes of Ethereum, even after such a huge drop after the meme coin buzz has fallen through. So yeah, I'm still very bullish on Solana, and it's going to be an interesting watch them kind of coming out of where they really created all of their volume and liquidity from. Not directly them, but the builders on Solana. It's a very interesting position, and hats off to them for kind of moving out of this period and still staying extremely strong. And one more point to add to that is TRX has actually found its way onto Solana as well. So it's a constant reminder that projects are still collaborating, still building in this sort of market, even though it's not being reflected in price. Sticking with blockchains, I'm going to talk about Ton now. So I spoke about them last week with their smart wallet that's coming to Telegram, allowing users on Telegram to send crypto to each other. They just completed a sale, $440 million worth of Ton to institutional investors. With that sort of backing, you can only expect Ton to make even more bigger movements. And obviously the direct relation to Telegram, you know, such a big app, over 1 billion users now, and the integration of Ton into Telegram clearly has got the institutional guys very excited. And although Ton is a separate kind of entity to Telegram now, there's clearly still very in bed, otherwise $440 million doesn't roll into something, with the hope that it's going to be extremely vocal through Telegram. So, I mean, I started following Ton in July last year, and it's been quite a journey. I bought a couple of dips based on the fact that I believe that the integration with Telegram is such amazing user adoption, and from a growth perspective, it made complete sense. So, exciting one to follow. And then the final point I want to talk about again is meme coins. We personally learn a lot from meme coins from a growth perspective, and how tokens can be launched in different ways, how communities can be nurtured and built, and how on-chain metrics in regards to tokens can be moved, let's say that way. And also, I think it was, although a extracting period for crypto in terms of value, and this has cost altcoins quite a lot, like I said, there were learning lessons to take from it, but it kind of seems like this season is coming to an end now. So a good way to look at this is Pump Fund, which was literally the largest launchpad for meme coins. I'm sure everyone watching this has heard of Pump Fund. There were a lot of tokens graduating from Pump Fund onto DEXs, and this week we had a period for, I think it was 24 hours, where no token graduated from Pump Fund. And in comparison to the millions of tokens that have come out of Pump Fund, I think there was at some stages like 17,000 tokens migrated a day to zero within a 24-hour period. It really does show the decline in meme coins. So yeah, and again, a lot of that comes from appetite. You know, the people creating meme coins are going to keep creating meme coins if they feel like there is a market there and there is liquidity to extract, and that clearly isn't the vibe anymore. So I think this is very bullish for crypto, very bullish for altcoins, because we can start focusing back on the projects that are really creating the future of this space. With that being said, Pump Fund have tried to do something to counter-react this massive slowdown in growth that they've experienced. They've launched Pump Swap, which is a decentralized exchange that migrated tokens will go onto, has lower transaction fees, and yeah, lower fees in general. But maybe it's a little bit too late in the day for Pump Fund, unless they all of a sudden become a launchpad for altcoins or other types of tokens that can create value in the space. Anyway, that is all for the digest this week. I hope that this has kept you in the loop, and remember to subscribe to our channel. Every single week we're going to be knocking one of these out. So yeah, if you want to know what's going on, you want to be in the loop, just watch this video every week. I've got you covered. And as always, if you want to know more about what we do at Magnet, then go to growwithmag.net, have a little look around. If you're trying to build something in the space, let's see if we can help you. If not, all the best.